This man wanted to be adopted at
He's old and
80
alone, put himself up for adoption. See the headline?
Okay.
Headline. Today we're going to talk about something that's a little different, but it's very important. It's about the people in China. We've been following them pretty close. As we know, they had that one child deal. You can't have more than one child, and that was from 1980 to 2015. Then the one child supposedly was off and you could go to 2 children, but they've still been having a lot of trouble in China with 2 and then 3. Another guy had 4 and they sterilized them, you know, because basically most of the Chinese don't want more than 1 child. But what's happened with this 1 child, now a lot of these people there are getting old. About 15% of the Chinese now population are over 60. And by 1940, it will be nearly 1 in 4. So that would be 25% of the population will be over 60. And you know, whenever you're 60 years old, naturally, you don't want to, you figure, why should you work? You're supposed to be retiring. Now this guy who we're talking about, Han Zicheng, he tried to advertise and put up a sign that he wanted adopted. He was 85 and he was by himself. He really didn't like the nursing homes they have there in China. They're sort of below average, and he worked his whole life, and now he gets a check every month for $9.50 from the government. It's like our Social Security, and that should be enough for him to live, but he's very, very dissatisfied with his life. And now it turns out in March 2018 he died. But before he died though, he was advertising all over saying that he was 85 years old.
Oh my God. I can't deal with these freaking wasps.
He advertised all over that he was 85 and he wanted somebody to adopt him. He just wasn't satisfied with what was happening. And a lot of these people, even in the United States, their children leave, they go somewhere else, their wives die, and then what's next? Where do they get friends at 85? And they don't go into a nursing home. Nursing homes are very expensive here, and I think they're expensive in China too. So that's why he was putting up signs on the internet and everywhere that he wanted somebody to adopt them. And naturally then people start calling in some of these drifters and things like that, and he didn't want to go with any of them for them to take care of him or for him to live with, so he just dropped that. And then he's just moving along. And one thing he says is that he said older Chinese people are like flowers and trees. He said, if we are not watered, we cannot grow. That's what he said his whole life. If we are not watered, we cannot go. And another thing is, a lot of the children, he had 2 sons. One moved to Canada, and I don't know where the other one went, but he doesn't know either, and he doesn't want to get up with them and say, you know, can I please come live with you? You know, people just aren't like that. He just said, well, if they're going their way and they want to do this in their life, then let them do it. But meanwhile, he has nobody to take care of him. And he didn't. He died a few months ago, but still, he was in the headlines here, it says, old and alone, man put himself up for adoption. He put himself up for adoption. He said, please adopt me. I need somebody to live with me, take care of me, and things like that. And he started off in life with a real small job, and then he went to school at night, and he went up and he worked for a scientific research institute in yen, and that's what he gets his monthly pension from, of $9.50 a month. But he said from the beginning he wouldn't go to a nursing home. He checked some of them out, and he really said that he just didn't like the way they were set up in China, and a lot of them, you know, they have hard times, and even in the United States, and a lot of people just can't go to a nursing home. They don't like them, or they don't want to live with people, you know, in the home on the floor. And but this seems to be something that is moving along. I know it's in China, and I think it's moving along around the world. You know, when the people are living longer, they're living longer. Like this guy was 85 before he died a couple of months ago, and everybody's living longer. The United States, our population is living longer, and just like right now in China, 15% of the people there are over 60. So those people aren't working, they're just sort of hanging around trying to make it on some kind of monthly check they get, and now it's going to go to 25% in China. The United States has a lot too, I think, because let's face it, people are living longer worldwide because we have all this medicine out, and they're advertising medicine and pills in the newspapers every day that you can get for about anything you can think of, and you can buy them. A lot of them are dirt cheap. If you just send in the money from the ads there in the newspaper, and the life expectancy, I think, is going to get up and up. I can see people in the United States, I can see a lot of people living to 100, especially in their 90s. If you check the New York Times, they have one section all the time about people that are dying, famous people, whatever. And a lot of these people, producers and people in the shows and really good people, they're living to in their 90s. And I don't think that was possible several years ago because we didn't have the medical we have now. Generally, whatever's wrong with you, bingo, like the girl I'm talking to right now. I talked to her in the morning, said, where were you at last night? I was in the hospital. Stayed there all night, and they were working on me. Now I'm here this morning, and we're doing a video. So, I mean, that surprises me, but that's one way. We have real good medical, and several times she told me, I said, where were you at last night? Went to the hospital. And now you're here today. Yes. I mean, I think of years ago, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, I don't think that would happen. You know, they talk about going to the hospital, maybe go a month from now, and then they would just lay around sick for a month. They put you on IVs and give you all the fluids you need. This is moving around the world, and this guy here was 85 and said he wanted adopted, so I think most of the listeners today should work on this, and I'm assuming you're going to live longer, but let's try to make some type of arrangement. You know, are you going to go with this child or that child, or you want to go into this nursing home, or maybe you just want to stay on your own? I don't know. But I think we're going to have to start making these type of arrangements quicker because the people are living longer, and there are going to be a lot of people here living to in their 90s, and some might hit 100. Thank you.